If you dare to publish or say anything she deems to be hate or misinformation, it is now social media companies that are going to have to be held accountable and pay the price. Listen to this.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
We are going to hold you accountable. It's always threat to our democracy, while these people, ironically, are talking about stripping you of your most basic right in a democracy or democratic republic, which we live in today, your right to seek out whatever information you deem appropriate for yourself, to freely form your own thoughts, opinions, and values on the world, and then share those thoughts, values, and opinions with the people around you, wherever you see fit, whether the public square happened to be standing on an apple carton in several hundred years past of American history, or it just so happens to be the modern public square where we have these conversations on social media and on platforms and channels just like this one. But listen carefully to what she's saying. Essentially, if your platform allows for the publication or amplification or megaphone of any hate, we'll start there, you will be held accountable. Essentially, your platform will cease to exist. We'll regulate it out of existence. We will punish you. We will come down upon you with the full force of the Department of Justice, which, by the way, just as a casual little reminder, if this woman is elected to be president of the United States, she gets to oversee. The Department of Justice answers to her, which is a really comforting thought based on this woman's past as a prosecutor. I digress. If you allow for an opinion that some people don't like and might find hateful, which, let's be honest, basically means anything under the sun today, then your platform entirely, not just your account, not just one individual, not just one particular show, but your entire platform, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Rumble or X or anything in between, will cease to exist. But also, if your platform acts as a megaphone for misinformation, your platform will cease to exist. She's saying the quiet part out loud. She's admitting that to you right now. She's telling you this 20 days before Election Day because this is exactly what she intends to do by weaponizing a future Harris Department of Justice to essentially have freedom of speech in America cease to exist. Oh, but it gets better. Another clip has surfaced of Hillary Clinton, because she just won't go away, what's that about, on MSNBC, talking about punishments and sanctions not just for companies that platform these ideas, but people who continue to spread these ideas as well. Not enemies to the state, not propagandizing agents, American citizens.
Just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016.
Listen, right here.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence.
Whether American citizens should be civilly or criminally charged for posting propaganda, whatever that means, on the internet, that would be a better deterrent than your current existing status having constitutional rights to freedom of speech. Ironic, isn't it, that Hillary Clinton, of all people, is the one encouraging criminal prosecution of individuals for propaganda. Different conversation for a different time. But these are all talking points coming from the top. There is a reason when you hear John Kerry, when you hear Barack Obama, when you hear Hillary Clinton, when you hear Bill Gates, and when you hear Kamala Harris spew these talking points basically in unison, all within the last few days at press conferences, at rallies, on mainstream television, in front of the World Economic Forum, at these elitist organizations like the Clinton Global Foundation, they all sound the same. And that reason is because they are all being given the same playbook. What is the easiest way to strip Americans of their Central American identity? Take away the very First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. Take away the bedrock foundation of what it means to live in a free society. Take away what inspired the West to flourish for the last several hundred years. Individuals' ability to freely seek out whatever information they want, free from interference by their government, make up their own free opinions, values, and thoughts, and share those ideas with the world scot-free. No punishment, without being silenced or censored by the elites in positions of power. Kamala Harris winning this election means complete and flagrant disregard for the First Amendment to the United States, maybe even overturning it entirely. I know that sounds insane and hyperbolic, but it's true. Kamala Harris winning this election means these people we continue reacting to, the people who have become so drunk with power that they are willing to incinerate your most basic civil rights. It means these elites continue to govern over your life. I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with that. And I certainly am not going down without a fight. So I beg you, when you see videos like this, when you see headlines like this, when you hear people like presidential candidates be honest with you about stuff like this, share it everywhere. Repost it everywhere, because we are rapidly running out of time to even have this conversation about why free speech matters in a matter of weeks. Do with that information what you will, but don't say nobody warned you when in a few months, our entire constitutional basis for civil rights is completely incinerated. And I cannot recommend, if you guys haven't already made prayer a part of your daily routine, downloading the world's largest Christian prayer app, Hallow, Hallow. They have more than 10,000 original prayers, meditations, history podcasts, lifestyle podcasts, mental health resources, everything you can possibly imagine that has totally transformed my prayer life and that of almost every single one of you as well. Hallow is offering you a 3-month free trial to all of the incredible content on their platform. If you go right now to hallow.com/Isabel, HALLOW.com/Isabel. And our friends over at Public Square, America's largest leading marketplace for small businesses that are all pro-family, pro-faith, and pro-freedom, and pro-actual science, by the way, actually got their start out in the beautiful state of California. They are changing how we spend money in America one day at a time, realizing that where we spend our dollars is where culture is going to thrive. If you are looking for businesses to support that share your values, check them out at publicsquare.com. And if you are a business owner of any kind, make sure you add your small business to Public Square to connect with customers who share your values too. I'm so glad, by the way, that there are companies that are trying to get to the actual truth of matters like this and in standing for women in general. Just one of which happens to be my amazing friends over at Garnier. Garnier is the only period product company on the market that insists only women can menstruate. Thank you for that, by the way, Garnier, because we need a whole lot more of that. And their pads, their tampons, and their menstrual cup products are all 100% organic and completely non-toxic. I have noticed a huge change in my cycle since switching to Garnier products, and I cannot begin to recommend them enough to you, especially after we just found out that most leading tampon brands have arsenic and lead in them if you're buying them at Target or the grocery store. You can get a discount on your first order to Garnier if you click the link in the description of this video. And please, please, please embrace the same courage that they are in standing up for real womanhood in 2024 and beyond.